On to what I have is a short final question for each one of you. It is the same question for each of you, so not different questions now. But this final question, and actually, Dr. Marshall, I'm going to start with you. And here it is. As you know, Amazon is considering possibly moving its second headquarters here to the state of Illinois. Chicago seems to be in contention. Pretend right now, Jeff Bezos is in this room. He's walked in right now, all right? Do you attempt to sell him on moving that second headquarters and planting it in Illinois? If you do, say so. If you don't, say so. And tell me why in each case. Go right ahead.
Two reasons, Mr. Bezos. Two things. I will not screw your employees with a progressive income tax because he has very many high-paid employees. So progressive income tax is really going to hit his employees. Number two, the money from the marijuana should be rebated to property owners. So, Mr. Bezos, that big new building you bought, we're going to give you a tax rebate directly from the marijuana money.
So you would encourage him, though, to bring it to
absolutely.
Whatever state it is at that particular time.
Oh, sure. I mean, but the thing is, you know, if he might bring 50,000 jobs, but we might have to pay $2 billion. If you legalize marijuana, you'd create the same thing and not have to pay a penny.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Marshall. Mr. Hardiman.
Well, unlike Governor Rauner, who stated that he would like to see Amazon move to St. Louis, Missouri, so they can boost the economy in southern Illinois, there's no reason in the world why a sitting governor would make that statement. I would definitely encourage Amazon to move to East St. Louis, Decatur, or the south side of Chicago, move to Cicero, help some people out. Amazon can bring 50,000 new jobs to the state of Illinois. So as your governor, you have a governor talking to you right now that does not have to drink no chocolate milk to show our support diversity. That's what Governor Rauner did. So we need to really think out of the box right now. I'm running for governor, so if you want something different, you have to do something different. But Amazon should be here in Illinois. We need the jobs, and as your governor, I plan to make that happen.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
If Jeff Bezos walked in this room tonight, I'd ask him to explain what Dr. Marshall said when he said a pox on all your houses. I'm still trying to figure out what that phrase means.
For your graduated income tax.
Okay. I'd say that in truth, if he walked in, I'd ask him why he hasn't matched the restrictions that Dick's has done on gun sales at Amazon, which I think Jeff Bezos should do, and he should do this week.
Would you make a contingent on that?
What's that?
You'd make a contingent on that? Your offer to come to Illinois would be contingent on that move?
I'd have that hard conversation with him, absolutely. I think in terms of what we should offer any company moving to Illinois, I wouldn't give the sweetheart deals that Daniel Biss has voted for groups like Sears or the Mercantile Exchange. I'd have a but-for test. But for the fact that they're here, we wouldn't have this income, and that income, therefore, is available as an incentive for a corporation.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pritzker.
Well, we need to attract jobs to the state of Illinois, and we've got a very attractive feature here, and that's our workforce. We have the most educated, dedicated workforce in the nation. Now, we need to invest in that workforce, and under Bruce Rauner, we haven't, and we've driven 72,000 students out of Illinois. And those are our best economic resources for the future. Now, what would I say to Jeff Bezos? We have the talent that you need for your business. That's why you should come here. And should we offer incentives? Look, it is unfortunate that we live in a world where municipalities and states are competing against one another. But we need to offer incentives, and then the return on investment for the state of Illinois should be spread throughout the state, not just to the one location where that business moves.
Thank you. Mr. Tiber.
Mr. Bezos walked in the room tonight. I'd say it's good to see you, sir. Let's go to Madison County, where you've got the largest Midwest distribution warehouse. Let's look at how much profit you've made by moving to Illinois, and let's expand your profit margin by building even a bigger distribution center in the state of Illinois. Let's bring more jobs from Amazon to employ more people that are coders, that are assemblers, and let's bring another trucking firm that we need to distribute your products even more in Illinois. And we're just going to continue to grow this as a state.
Mr. Biss, are you in favor of wooing Amazon to come here?
I think we ought to ask ourselves what kind of economy we have and what kind of economy we want. Here's one of the problems right now. We have so much concentration of wealth at the top in the economy represented by J.B. Pritzker and Chris Kennedy, where a few people have more and more and more, and the rest of us have less and less. And that is being replicated in the corporate sector as well. Now, we need to be very careful. Do I want 50,000 jobs? You bet. Is there a positive economic benefit associated with Amazon coming? For sure. But we cannot get involved in chasing them in a way that would increase the concentration of wealth and make it harder and harder for small businesses and entrepreneurs to compete and create the thriving economy Illinois really needs.
Thank you, Mr. Biss. Now, each of you get, I need to tell you, you each get 1 minute now. These are your closing statements, so I do need to move on. Forgive me. But according to our pre-debate draw, we're going to be starting with Mr. Hardiman. Mr. Hardiman, your closing statement.
Well, once again, T.U. Hardeman, I'm running for governor for the second time. I ran in 2014, secured close to 30% of the state vote, winning 30 counties downstate. Our 2020 plan includes the veterans, seniors, college students, people with disabilities, the LGBT community, child care service providers, ex-offenders, veterans, the homeless population, the recovering community, women, children, and we support DACA. And I would like to encourage everybody to think out of the box. If you want something different, we must do something different. The way everybody flocked to the theaters to go see the Black Panther movie, I want you to flock to the polls to vote for T.U. Hardeman and Patricia Avery. I'm not saying this just because I'm African American. I'm saying this because we're qualified to lead this state. And if you look at the fact, we've never had a minority governor here in the state of Illinois. And when I said I represent the last hope, the great hope for African American people, I meant to say that I represent the last great hope for everybody here in Illinois, because we have 1.7 million people living in poverty, and we need to change those numbers.
Thank you, Mr. Hardeman. Dr. Marshall, you are next.
Thank you for having me here. Well, if you're happy with the establishment, if you're happy with the way things are, the debts, $120 billion of unpaid pensions, if you're happy with that, don't vote for me. There's 3 people at least on the left side of the stage here who are just like that with Mr. Madigan, and I'm not like that at all. So I'm an anti-establishment candidate. I have new ideas. My basic philosophy is to find new sources of income, and we've mentioned 3 of them here, and to stop hitting the taxpayer up for taxes. I am against all state tax increases. Income, gasoline, tobacco, sales, etc., etc. I'm against all of it. That's how you encourage people to stay here and encourage businesses to come back.
Thank you very much, Dr. Marshall. Mr. Pritzker.
Thank you.
Well, I'm running for governor because everything we care about is under siege by a racist, misogynist president in Washington, D.C., and by his local silent partner, Governor Bruce Rauner. Now, my parents taught me to fight for social and economic justice, equality, and inclusion. And so I've tried to do big things for families all across the state of Illinois, expanding school breakfast programs, preschool and child care for kids who otherwise weren't getting it, creating thousands and thousands of jobs, running the Illinois Human Rights Commission so people could get justice when they've been discriminated against. We need to get big things done in this state. Quality education for every child, universal health care. We need to create jobs. I'm J.B. Pritzker. I'm going to beat Bruce Rauner, and I'm going to put Springfield back on the side of working families.
Thank you, Mr. Pritzker. Mr. Kennedy.
I think as Democrats, the thing that separates us from Republicans is this notion that we believe that government can be the people's ally, that government can educate our children, keep our communities safe, take care of our elderly parents, give them the retirement and health care that they deserve. But nobody's ever going to trust us and believe in that. Not other Democrats, not independents, not progressive Republicans, if they believe that our government is designed to enrich a handful of elected officials at the cost of everybody else in our state. And unfortunately, that's what's going on now. The chairman of the Democratic Party, the Speaker of the House, has the largest market share of property tax business anywhere in the state. In that role, as chairman of the party, he helped choose the head of the party in Cook County, who chose himself as the Cook County assessor. Now, the head of the party appeals taxes to the Cook County assessor who he installed in that job. That needs to end.
Thank you very much. Mr. Biss.
Thank you. I've been thinking a lot during the course of the last 24 hours about the price of a monthly CTA pass. And I learned something you might find kind of interesting. I learned that when J.B. Pritzker's campaign spends $171,000 a day to try to buy this nomination, they're buying slightly over 1,600 monthly CTA passes. And I thought that was an interesting little example of what's at stake in this election. We have a profound choice as Democrats about what kind of party we're going to be. Are we going to be a billionaire party, or are we going to be a people's party? Are we going to say that in an era of Trump and Rauner, we want to do that too? Are we going to assume that money is what it takes to win elections now, or are we going to build a different kind of movement? I'm running for governor because it's time to change what's possible in Illinois. I'm running for governor because we have seen incredible potential in this state cast aside by a political system that sets its sight too low. I'm Daniel Biss, and I'm running for governor because in 2008, it's time to get it right.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dieber.
Thank you. Well, there's been a lot said over the course of this campaign by different individuals about people who are in other offices and about each other. But I think when it boils down to this, I think the voters are looking at someone who's got government experience, that can govern, like myself, 20 years of serving in government. And that's the type of person that's going to go to Springfield and get things done. You know, last night I was asked how much a jar of peanut butter was, and I said $2.65. I also know how to eat a hot dog on a slice of bread because I'm an everyday guy. And that's the life I've lived with people in my part of the state. And you know, if you want a governor that's going to change the way things are, as people talk about in the state, you've got to elect someone else. And I am the individual. Thank you.
And thank you, because that wraps up this debate for the Democratic nomination in the Illinois governor's race. Our thanks truly to all 6 of you, all 6 candidates who have joined us this evening, and also to Craig Wall and Erica Maldonado. Thank you so much for your questions. I'm Alan Kraszewski. Thank you for joining us tonight. Don't forget to vote. Have a great night.